Welcome to the Elatec Now video training series. In this video, we will demonstrate how to use the App Blaster utility to program an Elatec TWN4 card reader. The required items to follow this training will be an Elatec RFID reader with the -P or -PI option, a Microsoft Windows laptop or PC with a free USB port, the latest Elatec dev pack which can be downloaded at the Elatec website. Please see the link below in the video description. A 26-bit HID RFID card. If you do not know the RFID card type or its bit length, please see our training video on YouTube for performing a tech tracer card analysis. Let's start by opening the folder with the extracted Elatec dev pack. Look for the appblaster.exe file and launch the program. The App Blaster utility will present a 3-button menu for each of its functions. In this video, we will only be using the Configurable Project option. Within the Configurable Project window, the first thing that needs to be selected is the project template. The number of available templates may vary depending upon your specific version of the dev pack. In most cases, the desired output will be in keyboard mode, so we will select the multi-keyboard template and click the Select Template button. Once the template is selected, the Action Items window will now populate with several new options. Next, we will need to select our RFID card type starting with the Category window. Each category selection chosen will populate the available card types in the Type window. In this case, we will select the HID category and the HID Prox type and click the Add button. This will add the card type to the Active Transponder Types window. Note the plus sign next to the RFID types in the Action Items list. Expanding the plus sign will display all of the selected RFID cards chosen. Now click the plus sign to expand the selection and any plus signs under the expanded menu. For our single RFID card selection, which is an HID Prox card, click on the Data Source/Bit Count menu. Now click on the pull-down menu for the UID length filter and select the bit length of 26 bits that matches our card's bit length. Now select the Output Format option from the list. This section is what determines the output when the RFID card is presented to the Elatec reader. The default settings you see here will output the entire UID of the card in hexadecimal. In most cases, the desired output will be in decimal with a preference for the printed number off of the front of the card if it is present. For this example, we will use the most requested settings for a 26-bit HID Prox card that will output its printed number in decimal. In the Output Format selection, we will select the Decimal option. In the Output Bits section, select the radio button for some bits, then set the first bit to 9 and number of bits to 16. The Length of Output option allows for customizing the number of digits that will output from the reader. A typical 26-bit HID Prox card will have a 5-digit number associated with it. The default setting of Automatic will work for most scenarios and will also trim off any leading zeros from the output. To preserve the leading zeros, simply select the Exact radio button and change the number of output digits to 5. We will now move down the Action Items list to the Options selection. It is recommended to check the box at the top to accept configuration cards for most App Blaster builds. This option will allow the external reprogramming of the reader if changes are required in the future using an Elatec programming card. Programming cards can be purchased from Elatec or your vendor, or optionally you can order a programmer kit to create your own programming cards. Without this option checked, the reader will have to be plugged into a PC to be manually reprogrammed. Now let's choose version information in the Action Items field. It is highly recommended to name and save your project to a file for any future changes needing to be done. Proper naming of the files created in App Blaster will make it easier to locate and identify the correct firmware with a specific build, whether by file name or the installed firmware on the reader. The 3 items are the app characters, version, and app description. The app characters field is limited to 4 letters and/or numbers. We recommend using letters when possible and to abbreviate the name of the customer or project. This field will help identify the firmware after it is installed on the TWN4 reader. The version field starts at 1.00 and should be incremented starting on the right side as the firmware build gets updated. Lastly, the app description field allows for any length of text or legal characters to help give a detailed description of what the firmware does. This is for Windows file management purposes only and will not show in the firmware build once it is installed on the TWN4 reader. Next, we will save the project. In the upper left-hand corner of the Configurable Project window, click the Save button. A window will open to allow the files to be saved to a destination folder. We do not recommend to save all projects in the DevPack folders, as it can easily be lost. Having a separate folder for each project file is the safest way to ensure project files are not lost or overwritten. Once the Save button on the window is clicked, the project will be saved with an ABP extension. With the project file saved, now click on the Create Image button to the right of Save. This will now compile the project into a separate file for loading onto the reader. This image file will have the extension of BIX and will save in the same folder as the project file and retains the same name as well. Finally, you may optionally click on the Program Image button if you wish to load your firmware build onto the TWN4 reader that is actively connected to your PC. From here, you can make additional changes as needed, making sure to save your project and create a new image after each change, or simply close the App Blaster program. Congratulations! You've successfully programmed your Elatec card reader. Thank you for watching the Elatec Now video training series. For additional training videos in our series, please follow us on YouTube. For additional support, please contact us at our support email address.